on the job. Thanks very much. We're just going to have, as you know, we are a family that stands very much for formal proceedings. We're going to try and break with our tradition today and have something more informal. But so if you want to get a drink or grab a chair, we try not to keep you too long, but you might want to grab a seat all the same. And if I can have my brothers and sisters come up here, that's not like a general thing, I love you all, but it's just the actual brothers and sisters. If they could come up. Well, the first thing, we just want to have take a chance to say a little bit about Dad, to say a little bit about Kevin, Uncle Kevin, Ackers, whoever he is to you. And the thing that I'm struck with first up is that just over a year ago, around about this time a year ago, we're in a terrible situation with Dad where he was very, very ill and in effectively a coma for quite a while. That was, in many ways, Dad was lucky then. Lucky because a lot of the kids in his family, a lot of my brothers and sisters, take their life cues from Seinfeld. And I think it was Kramer who once said when someone's non-compass for more than 24 hours, it's a land rush. And that's what Tim thought should be the go. But luckily, we all got to town and Dad had a couple of difficult situations but came through and just woke up. And even though all of us had sat around his bed for hours on end telling him what we thought of him, what we were grateful for, he of course never heard any of it and just woke up and said, "Where's a cup of tea?" So today's our chance to celebrate Dad's 80th and also actually maybe say a few words of gratitude and what we think about our Dad while he can actually hear us. So first up, I wanted to introduce the person who's, of my siblings, who's known Dad for the shortest amount of time. A mere blip of time, really, because Sharon is the youngest, and so Sharon wants to say a few words.
Okay, Tim needs to come up to the front too. There you go. Timothy Kenny, can you come to the front? Okay, just thanks everyone for coming. It's just like a time warp here, coming and seeing everyone, all these familiar faces. I know they used to go to Toohey Hawkins Court, Atherstone quite a bit, all these faces, so it's great to see everyone here, other than the younger ones, of course, who never got that through. I guess Dad, he's tested us many times. Certainly 12 months ago he put us through the ringer. But just grateful to have him here. Dad loves nothing more than family, the Crows, and his grandchildren probably. Out of everything in life, they are the three things he treasures the most. And I guess if I was to say something that Dad has taught me, or something we shared from day dot, was a love of animals. I know I'm a bit of an animal lover, and that was what Dad and I used to do when we were little, go down the creek and throw the ball for the dogs and play with the birds. And I guess that's still what I'm doing on my 20 acres now. So thanks for that, Dad. That was a huge part of my life, and it's something I do pass on to my children now. And now I'm going to pass over to Tim.
We didn't have a minute, but anyway, that's okay. All right, happy birthday to Dad. Where are you? Oh, there, okay. Very much the same, very love of animals and that type of thing. My sporting career has been dominated by everything you've taught me. No, I think it's, I think more than anything, as you get older, you realise what an incredible, difficult thing it must be to bring up 5 kids. I have no comprehension of that at all, but other than that, I don't think I could do it. So to you and to Mum, it's just a fantastic effort, and we owe everything we are today to you both. So thanks very much for that, and thanks for the hitting stopping when I was about 15. Family carer say thank you. But other than that, most of those bruises are cleared up. The whole bullshit story about the car accident, people bought that. Happy birthday, Dad, and congratulations, and may there be many more to come.
Those of you used to hang around the house at Athelston would know that Dad had us well trained as kids when he would sit at home at night watching TV. If we wanted to stay up long enough to, watch The Box or Number 96 or get another cup of tea, we would have to stand behind Dad and massage his head. We would stand behind his head, behind his chair for hours, massaging his head so we could stay up and watch TV. Look at the hair he's got today. And as you can see, Peter and I have not trained our children very well at all. You're onto something there, boy. Look, the one serious thing I wanted to say about Dad, I was sort of thinking about this in the car today and almost crashed because I teared up, and I hate getting emotional with these things, but Dad, and of course with Mum, it's pathetic. The Irish are just so pathetic at this sort of stuff. It's all emotion. I tell you what, we've got so much to be grateful for, but above all, grateful for what you've asked us to aspire to be. In our house, there were no heroes who were politically powerful or rich and famous, not even sporting stars, with the possible exceptions of Paul Bagshaw and Andrew McLeod. But really, Mum and Dad taught us that the people who are our heroes in our lives are the sorts of people here today: the Hollands, the Doyles, the Knightleys, the Kennys, the Maneys. People who worked hard, had strong families, who kept their families close, and whose kids went on to better things than they could have dreamed of themselves. And that was a fantastic thing that you gave us, Dad and Mum, and that's reflected by the fantastic people we have here today.
Well, I wrote that speech and I think he delivered it quite well. So, portrays at the end, so any stories we had are going to be gone. But Dad, I just wanted to thank you for instilling in all of us the love of family and treating people with respect. And it's had an impact on my own life in terms of the work I do with other people, the importance of being active. I think my memories of Dad, many memories I have of Dad, but he was a man that was often working 3 jobs. He'd be at the gas company, or he'd be working with Peter Kerner, he'd be at the Arkabar Hotel, he'd be at the drive-in theatre. And often I was there with you every time, either in the back of the car, asleep, watching some R-rated film, inappropriate, at the back of the Arkabar, just here, having one of those Bacardi and Cokes. And in between all that work life, he managed to schedule in a great love of sport. He was a great squash player, a great cricketer, a passionate footballer, and then an umpire too. And one of the memories I have, one of the great memories you have, is there's nothing better than going to watch your father umpire a football game and sit there on the sideline and watch your father be called everything under the sun. And I can't repeat many of them. Many of them were very true. Made some shocking decisions. But I had to there and say, so it's hard to go to a game of football and barrack for the umpire, but we all managed to do that, and we enjoyed it. We played 12th man in his cricket games often, and on the way here I drove past the cricket ground on Fullerton Road. What's the name of that near Bray College there?
White Oval.
Was it? White Oval. And I was saying to my girls, well, Chris and I, and often Tim, if he was de-shackled from home and allowed out, would be playing in that creek behind the oval. And as I drove past, it's not a creek at all, it's just a drainage ditch. But Dad, thank you for everything, always being there. Whether I've been here in Adelaide or away, Dad has always had a huge impact on our life and will continue to do so. And it's carried on in his love of the grandchildren as well. So happy birthday, Dad. And it's just been a wonderful ride. And remember, when you're in that coma, actually I was the only one there.
Thank you, Peter. And there's no way I'm going to even attempt to be as humorous as the boys always manage to be. But I will want to just reiterate how fantastic it is to see family, good friends, family friends, friends from a long time, Dad, people that the boys and Sharon and I have grown up with that you've always kissed on the head, told to get out, Jonas to get out of the fridge because there's no food there for anybody. Way back to Peter Kerner and Eileen and Tom, Lynette Smith, and of course your brothers and sister. I really didn't know what to say today because Chris kept saying, I don't want to get emotional, and I'm not a particularly emotional person. So I do want to just actually say that in many respects, when you think about Dad and Ackers, and at times he's been particularly socially debilitating to get to places, and then when he does get to a place, he's the life of the party. You know, I don't want to go out there, and then you can't drag him home. But the one thing I often do remember with Dad, when he met Mum, and I mean Mum, all her family were from the southeast. She was brought up here in Toorak Gardens, a pretty tough area to grow up in, I know, but she managed. But the one thing Mum wanted to do, and for a young fellow marrying to somebody that, you know, sort of had a bit of a family that was disparate in many respects, their honeymoon was spent going back down to the southeast and reconnecting with Mum's family. Mum's uncles and cousins, and in many respects we wouldn't have the connection that we just take for granted as kids with the Maneys and the Jews and all the normal part of what is the southeast is very much part of our second home. And I really take my hat off to Dad to do that. I mean, he's obviously had Mum up on a pedestal and would have done anything to make her happy. And that connection is as strong today as it was back then, and is only going to continue to go stronger as the cousins become cousins of cousins of cousins. Being 80, not quite, but I mean in the next week or so, I mean it's a great accomplishment. You've done well. Yes, 12 months ago you weren't looking that flash, but you know, you've railed back again. And we still have the 4 Kenny siblings here, which, you know, and we had a lovely photo with Uncle Ted up in Kalara, and I think that is just so important. I know Ted would have, you know, done anything to be here today, but I think it was great that you were able to go up there and have a cup of tea, a few laughs, a few arguments, wouldn't have been anything else but another laugh and a nice photo that we can all have and you can all look at. From that, I don't want to talk anymore. This is about a celebration. It's a great Kenny sort of knees up acknowledgement of somebody reaching 80 in relatively good health, and may we all do that. And I just know the grandkids just wanted to say a really quick thing from their respect about their papa. So I just want to say, Sarah, did you want to just come up? Now, Sarah is Peter's eldest daughter and the eldest grandchild.
And the best.
Hi, happy birthday, Papa, to start with. We're all asked to speak late last night, so not much progressing on to this at all. But I just want to say the first thing that comes to mind when I have to say something about Papa, and probably one of my favourite things, is his consistently blunt and often brutal appraisal of all our sporting abilities. Regardless of age, from age of 2 all the way up to my 26, if a tennis ball throw wasn't up to par, or you couldn't return a cricket ball or kick a footy properly, Papa will let you know about it. And because of that, he's always supported my sporting abilities and growth throughout the years. But it's good to have a honest criticism throughout my life. So I'll hand over to Ryan.
Sarah said she was just going to say one word. They got me for writing down a paragraph on my phone. So this is what I wrote. It's been a while since I had the chance to have quality time with Papa. That's not his fault, calm down. But as a kid, going to the mount was always a highlight. I had no recollection of Papa getting angry at me, which was nice. But I guess that's easy when Jason is shouting, where's my boots gone? From the room at 5 in the morning. I'd get bored easily, but Papa showed me how throwing a tennis ball back and forth could be both enjoyable and a beautiful time waster. After he'd pour me half his can of the black stuff, and we'd watch an episode of Seinfeld, Serenity Now, Sanity Later. Happy birthday, Pop.
My 3 memories of Papa were one from when I was very young, spending a lot of time with Papa. He used to babysit me for Mum. and that was always sitting on his front porch, whether it be taking care of a dog, a cat, a bird, Loie, sometimes nibbling on the dog food, as I would do as a child. Then when I was older, we'd go into this massive cage he had with guinea pigs and birds and talk to them and spend time with them. And again, as I grew older, it would be, he'd come up and visit us in whether it be Singapore, Hong Kong, and we'd go visit all these historical sites. And he'd always be educating us about what was there, whether it be something to do with war or a sporting hero or a family heirloom or whatever it may be. He was always trying to teach us what had been and what it means to know these things and treasure this knowledge. So thank you for that, Papa. Happy birthday.
Hi, Papa. Yeah, so I just wanted to thank you for all these times you babysitted us as children, and even if it did be in the dog sausages, as so you mentioned before. And yeah, and thank you for always making the family laugh and everything. Yeah, happy birthday.
Cool, well, happy birthday, Papa. I just thought, it'd be important to mention how the values that you've instilled in your direct children have flowed through to your grandchildren, and indeed with personal time, spending time with you. Some of my best experiences with Papa are simply just sitting in the backyard with Molly with a cup of tea and some toast, talking about when the magpies come in and what season these particular birds come into the backyard, etc., etc. I would like to say there are perhaps 3 things that have really helped my life through spending time with Papa. He's often encouraged me to participate in football, in cricket, and not until the age of 15 did I do this, but I've never looked back, and I don't think that without that encouragement from Papa I wouldn't have been able to do so. The friends I've made through that and the experiences which have made my life so much better, I thank you for that, Papa. I've also had a love of history, which has been further encouraged by Papa. Something that I'd love to do is just sit with Papa and have a yarn about when the US, really entered the war, or whatever that may be, or endless debates on such topics have been fantastic and really instilled me with a sense of pride in that respect. One time I was able to drive Papa's car, and from that point onwards, and numerous discussions about mechanics and engineering and how things work have really aided me in my life. And I feel as though Papa has always looked for the best side of everybody and really grown that. So thank you so much, Papa. Wish you all the best. Happy birthday. I'll leave you with Oscar. Be ready.
Well done, mate. Well done.
Well, I just wanted to say happy birthday to Papa and how we play catch and stuff. And I have a few memories of when he was talking about sporting, and he always loves to talk about cricket and how he's always encouraging me to play, but I never do. And just playing catch in the backyard with some of Siobhan's ridiculous rules. And yeah. Happy birthday, Papa.
Yeah, so I didn't really prepare for anything. So I just came up to say happy birthday, Papa. It's really good having you around and everything. So yeah.
Jordan? There you go, you're lucky.